Fellas, the V3 cast year is winding down. And you know what has been a constant throughout the whole year?
What's that?
People writing in.
Yes.
And leaving comments and emailing and even leaving comments on other socials of ours. So I have compiled, and you have compiled, a nice little list of the fun comments, and we're going to respond to some of them.
And Steve, what's the name of that?
That is the mailbag. Yeah, let's get into it. What's happening, everybody? This is V3Cast, episode 39. It's also the holidays, so we're in the spirit. We're having a fun time. We are the band Voyager 3. We do rock and roll. We have albums. We score films, and we also do this podcast. And speaking of the podcast, tonight happens to be a mailbag episode.
Yes.
So I
feel like we've gone too long. I feel like we've gone too long without talking about mailbag.
That's
you ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. It's been a while since we've done mailbag for sure. That's why this one is a whole episode's worth. We saved up for you, y'all. So sit back and relax.
Get ready for 2 hours of mailbag.
2 hours of mailbag.
Click. Wait. Come back. All right, gentlemen, it is time to open up mailbag.
All right. So going back, I guess I'll go in order of episodes. I'm just going back a few episodes. One of the guys from when we were talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, Papa KJ3A, I think his name is, was definitely giving love to Red Heat, which is one we didn't mention. He wasn't.
Oh yeah, that's where he was a Russian, right?
Yeah. He wasn't mad at us for not mentioning it. He just was making sure that it was on our radar. And Red Heat is great.
Yeah.
It's got Jim Belushi in it. And I don't remember if Arnold's accent is very good. I don't think it really mattered, did it?
Nah.
And everybody remembers the sauna scene where doesn't he fight a bunch of guys and they're all naked?
Man, if I've seen that, I saw it once, like originally, and I don't recall it.
I don't think they're naked. I think they're wearing towels. The naked fight I'm thinking of is Eastern Promises with Viggo Mortensen.
That's what I was going to say. That's Viggo Mortensen. That's where the fight in the sauna was.
They're dick and balls naked, and they're not showing the camera from behind or anything just to show the butts. They're like, we're going to show you balls so you know these guys are really naked in this brutal fight. But, okay.
Real deal.
Is another great Schwarzenegger movie. And Nick Cantrell was kind of annoyed with us, I think, because we did not mention Total Recall. And
he's got a good point. That's a great one.
It's a great one. Let everybody know and understand that the three of us love Total Recall. But when you're picking three movies, you gotta be disciplined. Unlike Steve, who will give you 7, I got 4 honorable mentions.
Yeah,
and he still didn't pick Total Recall. So really, I would just be mad at Steve.
Yeah, it's kind of pretty much just my fault.
It's your fault.
There's so much good stuff going on in Total Recall.
Yeah, it's he was pointing out how it's funny, it's action packed, it kicks ass. It's
one of the best bad guys of all time.
Yeah. For sure. You can't beat Michael Ironside ever in any movie. He mentioned how the movie is very meta, but not in just a simple blinking or winking at the camera style. It's really wrapped up in itself, and it really twists you up. I remember, taking quite a long time to try to figure that movie out, and that's of course the whole point. So that's a great one.
I saw it at the theater, and then obviously many times on cable afterwards. Yeah, and it's right up there. It really truly is. I mean, you just can't name them all. I mean, I know I try to, but you just can't name them all.
That was from that Arnold episode. Do you want to throw something in there, Steve?
Yeah, I'll do one. I got a really cool Instagram comment from Christopher Lee. He's been on Instagram for a long time following us, and he tagged us in this post. Now, I know you guys have seen this, but let's bring it out to the forefront finally and once and for all. Is he tagged us in this cool picture of the Voyager 3 by Plymouth, that concept car that was it's more than a car. It's like half car,
a minivan, right?
Half minivan, half SUV. It's just crazy. But it was the concept of it was introduced in '89, and it had like a glass roof, and believe it or not, the front part separated from the back, so you could drive the little small car part when you needed to, and the back part where it has more cargo or maybe even like sleeping area almost. Like I say, it's almost like camper too.
Right.
That would sit back, and it had 2 engines and transmissions, so you could power things separately or at the same time. And it's crazy. But I don't think it never made the light of day for real. It debuted at this Chicago Auto Show, I think like in '89 or '90, and they had a prototype. And believe it or not, the guy who made it, his name is Tom Gale. He was the guy who designed the Viper. Everybody loves the Viper. And the Prowler cars too. So what a cool ass concept. And we always joke that if we could ever get one, that would be our touring vehicle, just hands down. That's the rules. Even if we didn't want to do that, we'd have to do that.
Let me stop you right there though. Yeah. Because I heard Steve say it had 2 engines and 2 transmissions. That's like double the repairs.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's right.
On everything.
And also, I think that it's probably had to be pretty expensive to make a separatable vehicle. And from what I heard, the first time they did that and in the test drive, they separated it, and Deanna Troi took control of the forward part, the saucer section, and crashed the thing into the planet. And so they're like, I don't know if this is going to work.
I love how you just referenced Star Trek: The Next Generation, because I was going to talk about a second ago, like the cost of having 2 engines and separator. It's like, this is Knight Rider budget right here. This is not real life budget.
Right.
This is the Knight Foundation.
Yeah,
exactly.
But it is cool as hell looking. The vehicle is awesome.
Yeah.
Great concept.
Thanks, Christopher, for pointing that out to us. That was pretty sweet for sure. This episode has me so happy and so festive. I want to know what you guys are drinking.
I have whiskey with lemonade, like sort of a whiskey sour. But the cool thing is, look at that glass there, Motor City Nightmares.
Yeah.
See that? Yeah.
Somebody's in a rush.
Is that from the most recent one? No.
I think so. Well, I'll tell you what. Every time we do Motor City Nightmares, which is every year lately, I love walking by that table, and they have glasses all laid out just like that from like the last couple years, and they have those cool little satchel totes, and a whole bunch of cool stuff like that. So I'm glad you picked one up.
Yes.
Is that a homemade drink?
Yeah.
Look at that, bartender Aaron. Good work.
Did you get that glass this year, or did you get it?
It's from this year, but it's not like the glass isn't from this year. I got it this year. This is from 20.
I saw they were selling some of those like discounted from the prior years. I should have got one, man. Why didn't you tell me you were getting one?
What is her name? The Motor City Nightmares, like Lilith lady. Is her name Lilith?
I don't know.
Somebody from Motor City Nightmares should let us know if they're listening.
Yeah, let us know so we can call her the correct name from this point henceforth further.
You know, I changed my mind. Don't let us know. I'm just going to call her Lilith.
Fair enough.
So in the Sylvester Stallone episode, we had Metal Daniel Ambrose. He mentioned Nighthawks, which I think we talked about Nighthawks for just a second. Yeah, we did. We mentioned.
Yeah, I have the soundtrack on vinyl.
Yeah, that's a great one. He was giving love for that one. Sam, our brother cousin Sam, he was backing me up on the fact that Rocky IV.
Here we go.
we're putting this debate to bed tonight, though. We're not going to. But two more people on my side. Sam said that he agrees that Rocky IV is the Oops All Berries of Rocky, and he also mentioned that furthering that concept, Expendables is an Oops All Berries kind of movie too. And he pointed out that Terry Crews, the great Terry Crews, funny, ripped like a freaking wrestler, multi-talented Terry Crews is from Flint. I didn't know that, and he went to Western.
Yep. Terry Crews, man, pound for pound, is one of the best actors in the business right now. I mean, even for the last 15 years.
He's awesome.
Like, how good was his role in Blended? Did you guys see Adam Sandler Blended, where they go to Africa for vacation?
I didn't see that one.
Holy shit. So good, man. It's so good. Just watch it. It's great. It's got Drew Barrymore in it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I think he probably played my favorite president ever in any movie.
Camacho.
In Idiocracy. And then along with backing Aaron up, Cam Floyd, and he if anybody knows, it's Cam Floyd. He said that Rocky IV, Greg, is it is great. It's fun. It's the banana pudding of Rocky. It's the dessert. And the first three are the meal, the steak and potatoes is 1 and 2, and then the vegetables is 3. That's Cam's.
Hey, I don't know about y'all, but I've been known to reach across the table and grab the banana pudding first and eat that before I eat the meal. I'm telling you what.
Steve excels at that. Eating dessert first.
Mm-hmm. I also have breakfast for dinner too, by the way.
Steve will for anybody out there who cares to know, Steve we'll go to breakfast, and Steve will go, I think I'm gonna look at the menu all serious and go, I think I'm gonna have the bacon and the number 3 combo with the bacon, eggs, hash browns, and toast, but also the strawberry blueberry banana pancakes with syrup and whipped cream and everything. And you'll say, Steve, man, how are you going to eat all that? And he go, I'm not interested in eating it all. I'm just going to eat as much as I like of each thing.
That's right. I just want the flavors.
Yeah. Just want the flavors.
Wow.
That's 100%.
He does do that.
I can't even critique that or go, wait a minute, I don't really do that exactly like that. No, I do exactly like that.
That's what you do. Yeah.
I put my boots on his couch.
So there you go.
Hey, I got another one. Alex J wrote in on the 1984 episode, and he said something that I got to say. At first, I was shocked. He said about Dune being absolutely outstanding, as Aaron stated in that episode. And he goes, nah, the original sucked. Even Lynch doesn't like it. And then so I was thinking at first, who is this motherfucker?
Who is this imbecile? Where is he?
Yeah. So then I said, is that true? Does David Lynch say that about Dune? Because I mean, that's easily findable, right? He's either said that or he hasn't said that. So I did a Google search or two, doing some research as we do. And in this magazine called Far Out Magazine, I'll be goddamn if David Lynch didn't say that. I can't believe it. I don't understand it. So I'll read you the little.
Wait, he did say it or he didn't say it?
He did say it.
Oh.
So check this out. He from Far Out Magazine, he's quoted as saying, "I don't even like talking about Dune really, but I've said before, I knew when I signed the contract that I was signing away Final Cut, and from that moment felt like, looking back, I started selling out." And then David Lynch went on to say that his original cut was like over 3 hours. So the studio didn't want that to be that long. So they did massive edits and got it down to the length that it is now, which I don't know by heart what that is.
But just over 2.
Okay. Yeah. So they cut out, a large percentage of that then. So thus that would definitely change the pacing, I'm sure, that David Lynch had in mind. And and other things. Probably some characters' arcs got either removed or shortened. We all know how this works in the film business. So David Lynch is not a really big fan of that film because of what I would say would be like studio interference type of thing.
I have the philosophy of once the movie is released, it's not just the filmmakers anymore; it's everybody's. And so, even if he didn't like it, I do. You know what I mean? Like, because I didn't know the behind the scenes stuff that went on. I just know the movie I saw, and even as somebody who read the book, I still love the movie. I don't need to see everything from the book on screen because that's like impossible most of the time.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't really care if David Lynch doesn't like it. It's my movie now.
But no, it's fun that you mentioned that because for one, it could be that the studio made it better. To be quite honest with you, that's a possibility. You know what I mean? It could be that if you, as far as I know, this 3-hour cut doesn't exist. Maybe one day they might release it, or maybe it was destroyed and it doesn't exist at all. But that 3-hour cut could have been like, Jesus Christ, man, what are you doing? And then the studio tried to save this thing. But aside from all of that, none of that matters. What matters is if you saw the film, no matter what drama happened behind the scenes, and if you like the film, then you like it. But I just thought it was interesting. I couldn't believe that he said that even David Lynch doesn't like it. And I'm like, what? But apparently that's the case, man. I wouldn't have guessed that at all.
Well, I'm glad Alex J brought this up because I have a magazine right here where David Lynch, it goes on record saying that Rocky IV is indeed the best Rocky movie in the franchise.
According to David
it's
Lynch,
not even up for debate. Yeah, David Lynch said that.
Wow. Lynch is a Rocky IV fan.
It's right here in black and white. I got a magazine. I'm going to wave it really quickly so you can't verify what magazine it is. But
well, hey, if I put my mentalist brain on, I believe that the reason why David Lynch likes Rocky IV is because, as we well know, David Lynch is also a musician. So he helped write the Twin Peaks music. So he liked the Vince DiCola stuff so much that it pushed him over the edge. And he liked the banana pudding first as well, like me.
You know what else? Tell you another one. David Fincher hates Alien 3. Guess what? I fucking love it. Guess what? Studio interference all over the place to the point of like, I don't know if he was. I mean, it ruined him for a while, right? He hated that experience. I still love the movie. I loved it in the theater, and I love it however many 30 years later, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, sometimes that stuff doesn't matter. And I'm not even saying that Alien 3 is perfect, but it doesn't even...
It's far from perfect.
No,
from what I remember. You love Alien 3?
I love Alien 3. Okay. It's not as good as 1 and 2, but I still love the movie. And that stuff doesn't like matter to me. I mean, sometimes it's interesting to know the stories behind the scenes, but that doesn't necessarily affect the movie. Sometimes the movie is just awesome anyway.
Right. So, hey, Alex J, thanks for writing in, man.
And another one for the 1984 year we were talking about last episode is B.L. Fisher was pointing out he had a story that was similar to my Raiders of the Lost Ark story, where I didn't get to finish the movie and then didn't see it for years. He was a military kid, and at the time he was living in England, and he went to see Return of the Jedi, and his mom took him out of the theater like after 30 minutes or something, or maybe they rented it, but he never got to finish that movie until like a year or two later. So that's heartbreaking. We empathize with you, man. But luckily, hopefully you loved Return of the Jedi when you got to finish it. I'm sure you did. What about you, Steve?
Oh, man. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
I'm kind of going along your path in a way. I got myself. Yeah, go ahead.
Ooh, he left off and I got myself. So that leads me to believe he bought something. Hot chocolate is my guess.
Oh, that's an excellent guess, seeing how it is around the holiday time. And if I had more time, I would have done a hot chocolate. But instead, I have a Zing Zang Bloody Mary mix, no booze. It's so good and hot and spicy, and they put like that olive juice in there too. It's got all the stuff that people who know about Bloody Marys love.
Sweet. Do you mix it with anything like tonic water or anything?
Nope. I just dump it right in the glass.
There's no bourbon. There's no bourbon in there.
If I had a piece of celery, I would have put a piece of celery in there just for the fanciness of it all.
Yeah.
But we fresh out of celery.
What about a carrot?
We only have the little tiny carrots for the kids, the little ones that you put in their lunch.
Yeah, you can't put those in
all
there.
That would do is sink to the bottom, man. And then that's a bummer.
Yeah, and then you just got like a wet carrot at the bottom of your drink.
Mm-hmm. Wet, soggy carrot pieces.
You got to impale it on the toothpick and have them sitting in there.
I'm going to tell you what, man, this is absolutely delicious. Sometimes when I'm on a plane, they have the mystery.
I knew you were going to say this.
Yeah.
The only time people drink that shit is when they're going on a plane.
Hey, man. Cheers.
Not us, though.
I love it.
Remember, we got Bloody Marys at LAX. Remember?
LAX. Yes, y'all did.
Yep.
The line wasn't even that long for it. You guys had them lickety split.
And we had, 3 or 4 of them? No, we didn't.
Did we have that many? Wow.
You at least had 2, though. That's for sure.
I think we did have 2. They were so good, though.
Yeah, she really hooked them up. She made them spicy.
Yep.
That's right. I remember that.
So it was New York Ninja premiere one night, and then the following day, LAX bar with Bloody Marys at like 1 in the afternoon, or maybe even earlier. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, it was pretty early. Yeah. That's when you've seen too many movies and you see that they're always drinking at the bar in the airport because it looks cool in movies like For Love of the Game and stuff like that. Like you go, oh, one day I'm gonna have to do that.
That's right, and that was that day. Like it's my turn now. Right. I'm gonna look like a badass at the bar.
And then there's another one from Someone's in the Wolf. That's the guy's code name on YouTube. And he pointed out in 84 movies, one of the major ones that I forgot is Streets of Fire. If I'd remembered that movie was from 84 at that moment, it would have been in my top 3. I love that movie so much. And the
guy who did Can You Dig It? The Warriors, right?
Warriors, Walter Hill.
Yeah.
And many, many other great movies. I love Streets of Fire, and that I want to now amend my top.
Do you have a retroactive honorable mention?
No, Steve has to go back into. No, Steve has to go back into the 1984 episode and edit Aaron's pick out and put in the new footage. We're going to reshoot it with a different cast. We're going to get some other guy to play Aaron too. Like it won't even be Aaron. It'll just be some other actor.
Right.
Oh man.
Talking about Streets of Fire. Didn't you buy that on vinyl?
I did.
Soundtrack?
Yeah.
I remember that. I was there. Where did you get that?
That was at the place in Hamtramck. I don't remember what it's called.
Oh yeah, that's right. That little place. I think I came across it and handed it to you.
Yeah.
It wasn't Threads, was it?
No,
it's over on
Carpenter.
It's kind of it's like in a weird spot. It's not like in like the downtown where you think it would be.
Okay. Yeah, it's right on Carpenter. It's right on the other, like on the back the back of the block where we lived. You know what I mean? It's like if you were to go through the alley from our Hamtramck house and make a left, it's like 4 houses down.
Oh yeah,
and it's like one of those houses. It's like one of those places where he's just been collecting records and putting them in there, like in no particular order. It doesn't seem like, which is great because I mean, there's all kinds of stuff laying around, and it's really like fun to look through. So you never know what you're going to find in a place like that.
Yeah. All right. We want to thank everybody for contributing to Mailbag. All you got to do is comments on our videos or social media, or you can even send us an email at askv3cast@gmail.com. And every once in a while, we'll compile some and read them and comment and joke about and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I feel like the mailbag, this mailbag segment, I think this works because I don't get to read all the comments. So like I don't know. I feel like I miss them. So like some of this stuff is brand new. Some of these comments. I don't like that everybody's talking shit about me. I mean, I don't like that part, but I do like the fact that everybody's leaving comments, and this is a good way for me to hear about some of them. So.
Oh, you know what? I got one more quick one.
I knew you were going to have an honorable mention.
Exactly. It's just the tip of the hat. So we were at Motor City Nightmares, and our longtime buddy Al Bongiorno comes up. We've known Al for a long time. He used to be like in Firework and some other bands in Detroit. So he comes up to the table and he says hi, and I think he commented about New York Ninja. And then he said a really cool thing is he goes, "Hey, me and my son watch V3Cast every time it comes out." And that was awesome. So thanks, Al. Appreciate you guys.
Hi, Al.
How old is his son? I hope our profanity didn't.
No, now his son would probably be 22 years old or something like that, right around
he can handle a couple F-bombs, man. Come on.
Yep.
Dick and balls.
Oh, yeah, you went a little heavy with that at the very onset of this episode. You got right in.
Yes, high detail about what was being depicted on screen. We got a couple Voyager 3 news items to throw at you. Check this out. We got a lot of things coming out that you can get. We got the Killer Cabbage soundtrack on vinyl from Bellyache Records. There's 2 colors, the translucent blood-soaked cabbage red and the translucent green cabbage vinyl. So going over to bellyacherecords.com and pick one or both of those up. And you won't
see the colors in my background here, Steve?
That's right. It's
I do things with purpose. These are also the Christmas colors, so they make great Christmas gifts. We might add.
Right. That's right. Oh yeah. Yes. Greg, man, that was good. That was dang good, Greg. And
always be closing, Steve.
That's right. Speaking of Killer Cabbage, are you ready? So I know one comment that we've gotten a couple times at some shows and like at Motor City Nightmares, and our buddy Scotty over at Bellyache mentioned this too, is that people want to see the film as soon as possible. They've been asking about it. So we have the update. It was just announced on the 17th of December that the DVD for Killer Cabbage is now on sale. And the best place to get it is Amazon. And that's coming out through X4 Pictures. And it's for sale right now. And here's a cool other tidbit, is that the Killer Cabbage account on Facebook posted that it reached up to number 11 in the horror new releases for DVD on all of Amazon. That is absolutely killer. Are you kidding me? So, I mean, God dang. Number 12. So out of all the stuff that's out on DVD, Killer Cabbage ranked up yesterday. The first day it was on sale to number 12. So get to Amazon. We'll post a link here on this QR code and order your copy.
All right, Greg, what are you thinking?
In my relentless pursuit to have 3 Floyds make a beer for us,
yeah,
I picked up the new 3 Floyds variety pack.
Ooh,
which looks like this.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
But
hold that up again, because I see a knight and like a more of a mech kind of guy. The guy on my right, your left, looks like, futuristic armor almost. And then what is that? Is that a chainsaw on the left?
There's a dragon.
It's kind of like do you remember when Aaron,
like King Arthur style or something?
So remember when Aaron mentioned the chainsaw, and I said, you're foreshadowing.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
That is a hell of a pack right there.
So it's got 2 of the staples. It's got you got your Zombie Dust and you got Turbo Reaper, which are probably their best IPAs right now. But then you get Chainsword.
Oh, cool.
Dang.
Which is a little more subdued can than they usually do, but there is some art on here somewhere. Where'd it go?
It has the blade on the front.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it definitely has like the futuristic font.
Yeah.
So yeah, 3 Floyds
Nice.
as usual. Come
Looks
on,
good.
guys,
Looks good.
hit us up. Let us play
Well,
one of your beer fests.
Don't leave us hanging.
Yeah, man.
For this next segment, we have this thing that I'm calling, what am I calling? Record assignment? Mission? Record mission.
Oh,
Is that what you called it?
I didn't know it had a name, but I like that.
All right. For this
Or how about listen mission?
listen mission. No.
No, that doesn't sound good.
That sounds like scrumptious.
It sounds like Julia.
What did you say
Gulia.
that you were a long time ago? I'm loquacious.
Loquation.
Yeah.
So for the next segment, I'm thinking something like record mission. That's the name. So this was the idea where each of us assign an album to the other two guys, and then we listen to it and say whether we liked it or not, and just briefly like what we liked about it or didn't like about it.
The album that Greg assigned to me was Terrorizer, World Downfall. So I listened to that twice, and it was great. It's got good production, especially for that era. You know, everything is clear, and it's brutal as shit. Let's just get that out of the way right now. It is absolutely brutal. It never lets up. I have no complaints. I mean, I just don't listen to that kind of stuff all the time. But when I do, hey, nothing wrong with that record, for sure.
Well, I don't know if I should, convince you to like it, but what I do like about it is that I think it was one of the, you know how metal is nowadays. Everything is like, all the drums are like highly triggered or whatever. It just sounds like it sounds like a band in a room to me.
Yeah.
So there's something charming about that to me, and also like sort of the punk rock ethic of it. That's why I suggested it to you guys in the first place. So it's like if you were blending Napalm Death with Morbid Angel with like really raw, real sounding instruments. It's just kind of a cool take on that genre. They sort of like, I don't know. I don't want to say they invented grindcore. I think most people would say Napalm Death or like one of those bands did, but like they definitely like that record it's just like one of those records that everybody talks about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, I also, definitely felt how brutal it was. And I liked it. But the funny thing is, like, Greg is always recommending stuff like on a regular basis. And most of the time, Greg recommends these home runs where I'm like, oh my God, I wish I'd been listening to this forever. Or even if it's a new band, it's like almost everything Greg throws out there is a big hit for me. This
like
one,
Manowar?
like Manowar. And it, almost every time we practice, you're like, oh God, have you heard this? I don't know if we ever talked about this. Check this out. So those are always so great. This one didn't hit me like a lot of those did. So I was like a little bummed that it didn't just rock my socks, but I still liked it. It just wasn't as much my cup of tea as like, Coroner that you got us into like back in the summer, and, any number of other bands. So, but that's like the kind of the roll of the dice with something like this. Like it's, some stuff you're going to love, some stuff you're going to, it isn't going to hit you as hard. But yeah, it was still cool though. It was just so relentless. Like almost every song is blast beats and
on 10. Yeah.
And
it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Super.
So like when you need to go down that road,
yeah,
that's a fine record to do it with. Ain't nothing wrong with it, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Yeah. So then the other one that Aaron recommended was Failure, Wild Type Droid. And I think I listened to that record the week that I dove into it. I think I listened to it 4 times, and it's a great record. When it first starts off and the bass has like that phaser on it, I knew I was going to be right where I like to be. Just I like all that kind of stuff, that 90s kind of post rock stuff. I think those are one of the bands that kind of flew that flag, in their own way, because like I think we said the single I heard a long time ago reminded me of like Quicksand, which if you zoom out, yes, but they're doing their own thing for sure. They're definitely not like a Quicksand ripoff or anything like that. But so it's cool that they're back and making new records now, just like Quicksand, for example, as well. Yeah, and nothing wrong with that record, man. The production is crystal clear. It's got good dynamics. I liked everything about it. So thank you. Like another new band that I can add to the rotation, because I think they have like 5 records or thereabouts. So the material.
Hell yeah.
It's funny because Steve kind of took the words right out of my mouth. I feel like Failure definitely, like they were never on my radar in the 90s as much. I was aware of them, but obviously I was all the way down the rabbit hole with like Quicksand and some of the other post-hardcore bands, but they fit neatly into that bucket for sure. But this is where I'm gonna sound a little like Aaron. So like that 90s post-hardcore stuff is not really, I don't find myself gravitating to that. I definitely love all the Quicksand stuff that was happening, like, and I was into at the time. But like, I don't find myself thinking like, man, I need more of that in my life. I need some more. But Failure, honestly, like that album was more interesting to me than some of the other stuff that might be similar to them. Like I said, I don't know how much I would seek a band out like that, but Failure is probably in the top 10 for sure, I would think, in bands doing that style of music.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was glad. It's another lesson in like, it's never too late. Like even a band you've never listened to for 30 years, like that doesn't mean it. You can always get into it. Something from the 60s or 70s, if you find it, you can always latch onto it. So that was really cool. And I was glad I was able to like give that a chance, 5 years ago when I saw it on YouTube. I'm like, well, I didn't know these guys were this good, so that's awesome. Well, glad you guys liked it.
Heck yeah. No, it's in my Apple Music recently played, thing. Now you scroll down a little bit and there it is. I can fire it up again.
Yeah, I think I added it to my library, and then I went back because I knew there was a Failure record that came out more in that time.
Yeah.
And as soon as I found the album cover, I just added that one as well. So
yeah. Fantastic Planet.
Now it comes up on, I think it was that one. And then, so now it comes up on random. It comes up on shuffle, Aaron.
Nice.
You love a good shuffle.
You live in.
Hey, if you're talking about drum beats, I sure as hell do love a good shuffle. I'm gonna tell you what.
What if people watched movies like they listen to albums where they just watch scenes from movies and then it'll just switch to another scene from a movie and they never watch the whole movie?
Oh, is this your argument for like listening to a whole record?
Top to bottom.
So the Marty Friedman Dragon's Kiss that Steve recommended, that was super cool. That was like, just the crazy, epic, dynamic, guitar-driven instrumental rock. Very, did I say triumphant?
Oh, it's got lots of that.
Very triumphant and, with a lot of edge too. If something, because I'd never listened to Marty Friedman solo. So if you'd asked me what I expected, I might have expected it to be a little more, or a little relying too much on the prettiness of how he plays. I was glad that it didn't overdo it on anything too pretty. It's definitely got an edge and it's heavy. And then it's also all these other things besides heavy. There was so much clever stuff in it. I think it's the first or second song where it does this darker kind of riff like 3 times, but then on the 4th time it completely twists the riff into something very happy sounding. And I'm like, how the fuck did he even think of that? because it's mostly the same riff, but just a few different notes, and it's smiling at you when it was just like frowning at you. And so there's all kinds of cool things like that throughout the album. So yeah, that was great. I downloaded that. I'll be listening to that.
He has such a unique way that he hears melody and harmony and just structuring stuff like that. It's unbelievable. Like the next time, for those listening, and us too, but the next time you listen to the solo in Hangar 18, really listen to it and really see what's he doing and be like, oh my God, it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah. He's a master for sure. I had to get over my thing. A few months ago, I saw this interview where he was ripping on Jimi Hendrix, and I was like, "That's a thing people do now. They're like ripping on Jimi Hendrix because we've left the '60s behind. Like it's been long enough now where people aren't reverent to him anymore." And he was like saying, he could have learned to tune his guitar first of all and stuff like that. And I don't know, I was like, I almost didn't want to give your album a chance.
Yeah.
I was mad at Marty Friedman for ripping on Hendrix, which just feels like pointless to me. Not only is the guy long gone, but he's considered a legend by many people. It's like, saying that Ric Flair wasn't a great wrestler. I don't know what the point is to say that.
Man, people better not say that.
Right.
I know. I mean, part of what Jimi Hendrix left behind was the path that Marty Friedman walks upon. So I just don't agree with that whatsoever. And if the guitar was a little bit out of tune, that's okay. For example, the drop D tuning in Meantime for Helmet, that's out of tune too. Still a good record. You know what I mean? So whatever,
I would think if Hendrix was out of tune, it's because he was bending the shit out of the strings and playing the guitar within an inch of its life. And if the strings went out of tune a little bit, he's not stopping the recording to make sure everything's perfect. Really doesn't matter. But all that aside, like I said, I put it aside and of course gave the album a fair chance, and it was.
Well, you touched on something that's relevant. Marty Friedman's a totally different kind of guitar player than Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he is precise. So that kind of shit bothers him, right? And that's what's led metal down this path that it's on right now. Like everything is so perfect. Everything is fixed and everything is, quantized and smashed and boosted and all the way up to 13. So it's as loud as it can possibly be. Like there's just like this formula with metal now that's so like, I don't want to say generic, but like that you can tell Marty Friedman's more in that world, right? He's a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And Hendrix I would never describe Hendrix as a perfectionist guitar player. No, he was all feel.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's a totally different thing. So I understand why it aggravates him that maybe his guitar is a little out of tune, but you know what? Different strokes for different folks.
Right.
What I felt about this record was like it was Marty Friedman's answer to Joe Satriani's Surfing with the Alien. Because if you guys remember, Surfing with the Alien came out and it blew everybody's mind. Everybody was like, who the hell is Joe Satriani and how is he so good? Right. And then everybody found out, oh, Joe Satriani taught Steve Vai how to play. And he also taught Kirk Hammett how to play. And these guys were all like taking lessons from him for years when he released that album. And I remember we, like Scott and Colin, maybe not Colin as much, but I know we all got into Surfing with the Alien, and this felt like Marty Friedman's answer to that. Like it's the same sort of thing, right? It's a guitar showcase.
Right.
What I liked about it is that it had some of that like Megadeth edge, like the riffs were a bit crunchier. Right. Like the Joe Satriani stuff never really quite gets there, right? Where he's palm muting or playing like a palm muted riff, He doesn't do a lot of that. He might do a little of that, but he's not trying to be heavy like that.
Right.
So I did like that sort of color on Marty Friedman's version of it. Yeah. And the other comparison I would draw is this record, it's Dragon's Kiss, right?
Yeah.
I think it predates. I mean, it definitely predates Dragon Force, but I think it sounds a lot like Dragon Force. That's the first thing I thought of when I heard it. I was like, he's doing Dragon Force before Dragon Force did it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
True.
And everybody talks about them too as being like virtuosos and all that. But that's what this record reminds me of.
Yeah.
And then the cherry on top is he's got Dean Castronovo, I think, playing drums on this record, and the drumming is just phenomenal.
That is.
It's like ridiculously good.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those drum performances that make you want to quit your instrument. You're kind of like, what am I doing? Why do I own these things? Why do I even bother?
Right.
There's a lot of internet guys like that right now too. So
yeah.
But yeah, that was my take on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's fun. I think every once in a while we should, throw the record mission out there and stir it up for each other and see what comes up, Plus,
I've learned a valuable lesson. You guys are, I gotta stay in your wheelhouse a bit more. I came out of left field with Terrorizer. I scared you a little bit.
My wheelhouse is metal, dude. You recommend all the metal and I'm always all over it, but this just wasn't it. For metal, for me, I want either, if the singer isn't doing a vocal tune, then I want the guitars to be doing some kind of vocal tune.
No, you're not getting any of that.
Some kind of riff. There's no riffs on the Terrorizer album. It's all
There's riffs in there.
Terrorizer is all nails shot out of a cannon into your back the whole time. And some people like that. And there's nothing wrong with that.
It's mostly, the guitar and bass playing the same kind of thing. And it's a progression, but not necessarily a riff where it's like, everybody pause for a second. Let me bring it in with this riff and then we'll keep going. It's Terrorizer more like a big block, like song 2.
I'm going to get I need all my underground extreme metal brethren to rise up against Aaron and Steve as their minions have risen up against me on Rocky 4.
Wait a minute. I enjoyed Terrorizer.
Yeah, Steve liked it, I think, more than I did. But I didn't.
I think it has like a Sepultura vibe to it too, a little bit. Like I don't know. I guess that's maybe why I thought you guys would enjoy it more.
It did, but Sepultura has like riffs just galore.
This has riffs on it, Aaron. Are you sure you listened to it?
I did. I liked it.
Aaron got through 30 seconds and he's like, "This." I told you. I think I even said it in the other episode. I said, "This is some heavy metal bullshit." I think that's how I described it.
No, it's cool. It's just not.
I liked it, but I was hiding under the stairs for a little bit of it. But I liked it.
Yeah,
all right.
That's cool.
I call it the black coffee of metal music. I shot these guys a text because I was watching Joe Bob do an episode on a Christmas movie I hadn't seen out of Finland, and I had asked these guys if they had ever seen it, and we were like, well, maybe that'd be a good idea. We just throw a couple suggestions out for the holidays right before we sign off on the V3 cast. So my pick was Rare Exports. So anybody that watches Joe Bob probably watched it with him, and I encourage anybody, like, if you're going to watch any movie and Joe Bob has his version of it, you should always watch that, because Joe Bob has a lot of colorful commentary and behind the scenes knowledge that I do not know how he knows as much as he does, but he's a goddamn national treasure.
It is amazing.
So if you get the chance to watch, if you own a subscription to Shudder, you should be able to watch it, no problem. But if not, try to at least find the movie Rare Exports if you haven't seen it. It's out of Finland. Apparently, if you watch the Joe Bob episode, the Finns feel like America invented like the Coca-Cola Santa Claus, and he describes this movie as like the answer to that. So it's a pretty dark depiction of Santa Claus.
Yes.
But Joe Bob is quick to point out that Coca-Cola did not invent Santa Claus. So it's a really good Joe Bob episode. I'm sure, many of the people that listen to our podcast are familiar with Joe Bob, and they're probably like, Greg, why are you suggesting a movie that Joe Bob just suggested to me at like last Friday? But anyways, Rare Exports was much better than I thought it would be. And it's my recommendation for your holidays.
That's right. Get in the holiday spirit. That's right. Aaron, what are you watching? What are you watching?
Well, I was, this isn't necessarily my favorite. My favorite, well, I won't even, I'm just going to give one pick. I'm not going to say,
that's all. Just a pick.
I'm not going to say my favorite holiday movie. But everybody knows Christmas Story is the best holiday movie. So I don't even need to say it. I won't say it.
You just said it.
No,
you literally just said it.
No, but I'm not though. But my pick just to throw it out there and make it more V3 cast appropriate is Violent Night, which is from 2022. It's got David Harbour and Beverly D'Angelo. The director is Tommy Wirkola, and it's a really cool. It's another Santa Claus movie where like Santa Claus was he was like an ancient Viking warrior who was made immortal, and he ends up having to rescue this family that's being held by like terrorists, extortionists, and so it's like action packed. Santa is like, you know, busting skulls and like killing the bad guys left and right, and saving this girl and her family, and he's also like a drunk, you know. In the beginning of the movie, he's like, but he's the real Santa. He's the real deal, and it's a fun movie. It's super violent and it's great. Highly recommended.
Nice. I don't know that one. I'll drink some eggnog to that, or a Bloody Mary.
Don't watch it with the little kids. You'll fucking ruin them forever.
Right. This isn't this is for the parents or the adults in the room. All right. Well, I just got one question for you guys. Do you like Charles Dickens? So my pick is Scrooged, you know, starring Bill Murray, directed by Richard Donner, music by Danny Elfman. Man, that film is so good. I saw it back in the day. I probably see it once a year. And just a week ago, I got to see it at the Redford Theater, sitting up in the balcony.
Nice.
Center with the popcorn with the real butter and an ice cold Red Bull. Life is good. How good is Scrooged? You got everybody in there. How good is Carol Kane's performance, where she keeps punching him, slapping him, kicking him, and of course one of the best lines is when he says, "That bitch hit me with a toaster." And okay, here's one of my highlights of the film. Are you ready? So Bill Murray's character visits Claire in this homeless shelter. And Greg, who's Claire played by?
If I'm reading my notes correctly, it's Karen Allen.
There you go.
Is that right?
There you go. Yep. Right. She keeps popping up in all the films we like. But so there's these three homeless folks. One of them is Anne Ramsey, who we all know from Goonies and Throw Mama from the Train, right? Logan Ramsey, her husband, and Michael J. Pollard. These are all like great character actors from before our time, but they're in there and they keep mistaking him for Richard Burton. So then he does some lines from Shakespeare, and the way he delivers those lines in the film, and when he ends it, when he goes like, "I swear by there, I forswear." it's just so good. The next time anybody watches Scrooged, pay particular attention to that scene, because as he starts delivering those lines, the expressions on those homeless people as they're taking in, you know, his awesome acting, you know, they're just beside themselves, and he's making their year. It's just so good. And Bobcat Goldthwait is in it. Oh man, it's just too many. The Solid Gold Dancers are in it.
Yeah, Buster Poindexter.
Yes, yeah, as the
the cab driver, right?
Cab driver. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's so good. I recommend that movie every holiday season. So that's my pick. I have no honorable mentions, just Scrooged.
No honorable mentions from any of us. We all obeyed the rules.
That's right. Maybe 2020 is looking up for us.
Yeah, we want to start 2025 on the good foot, you know, following the rules.
That's right.
Following the rules.
It's always good to be on the good foot. That's for sure. But that's going to wrap it up for this episode of V3Cast. We've got to say thank you to everybody who watches and listens to V3Cast. We are the band Voyager 3, and we do this podcast as much as we possibly can. So if you dig it, like and subscribe and leave a comment, and you may end up on our next mailbag. And we have new music coming out next year and all kinds of good stuff like that. So until next time, go order your copy of Killer Cabbage on DVD.